The electrical engineering, or the field in general, is dominated by men. It just has historically been that way. In the energy industry, I find that to continue to be the case. My first job in the control room was very interesting because it was all men and 2 women on the rotation. The operators were very reluctant to listen to not only a female engineer, but a young female engineer coming right out of college.
My very first day as a distribution engineer, I had to go get my hard hat and my boots and my tools at the company that I started working for, and everyone at the warehouse was so concerned about whether I can handle these things and if I know what I'm supposed to do with them. It's a challenge, no? It forces you to show that you know what to do with them.
It was very challenging to get a lot of support, but I think once they got to know me, once they understood that I was there to help, once they understood that my skill sets were appropriate for my position, then I got the respect or the cooperation from them. But it was difficult. You know, it's just challenging in the industry in general.
It is very disappointing for me to see that, you know, even today there are very few women going into engineering in the United States. I think that is very different from what is seen statistically in other parts of the world. In Asia, for example, in China and in India, there are far higher percentage of women in engineering. This is very intriguing. I certainly don't have the answers, but what I think could be some of the factors is, one, many women have the perception that engineering courses are very, very difficult. It's just got a bad reputation.
My opinion as to why not more women go into the field of engineering is because as young women or teenagers are not informed of what the field entails. For example, a teenage girl might find the subject as boring, but if you actually involve them on, say, a project, they might find it extraordinary and realize that they can achieve their own potential by completing that project.
Engineering is very cool. Contrary to perceptions, it is not a dry subject which just keeps you, gives you no work-life balance, is extremely difficult. All those myths have to be removed. We have to find a platform to address younger women, both those in high school and middle school and maybe even in engineering school who've enrolled but who might be on the fence thinking, I'm not sure if I want to do this or complete this degree, or even if they've done it, they're like, I want to go into business because I think engineering is not, I'm not sure how I'm going to have any benefits on the lives of any people. I think we have to address that by showing them examples of, yes, you can. There is definitely that opportunity.
The main reason that anyone should join the power industry is that we have a great ability to impact the world. Power industry is actually one of the new topics, I think, that's going to be coming to the forefront in politics and news and daily life. Because not only do we have a situation where we have older aging transmission lines, older aging power plants, but we also have major environmental problems that those older plants can bring about. So by being an electrical engineer and by being in this industry, you really have an opportunity to get in on the ground and start solving some of those problems.
Being an engineer requires analytical skills and a lot of planning as well, and I find that I use that in everything that I do, from deciding what vacation we're going to take, from budgeting, from scheduling my family's daily activities. It is just used in everything that I do. Everything seems like a puzzle to me. Life is a puzzle, so the analytical skills certainly helps you get through that.
It's kind of sad. I use my engineering skills so much in my day-to-day life. I'm married to an engineer, so our conversations always revolve around technical things. But even more than that, engineering is about solving problems. And there are problems that come up in your day-to-day life. Whether it's you're installing some things for a home improvement project, whether you're just looking at a better way to get from point A to point B. I do a lot of planning, and it's not even something that I write down, but just whenever I think about anything, a problem that I might not like and want to improve, that's really an example of using your engineering skills.
Skills to become a successful engineer, besides technical competency, is adaptability to learn new skills and to achieve new challenging projects. Also, problem-solving capability. You're going to use logic and good engineering judgment to tackle new difficult problems in your career. And lastly, good communication. You have to have the ability to communicate well your analysis, whether it be in documentation or email, and to be a good team player with everybody.
Math and science is the fundamental for the engineering. Having the good problem solving skills and time management skills, good interpersonal skills are very important for an engineer to be successful.
When I'm looking to fill an open position, I look for candidates that are curious, that enjoy working, that are honest. I'm more interested in someone who is willing to ask me some more difficult questions, because it's really a partnership, right? The person needs to understand a little bit about my style, about the demands on the group, about the expectations, to really know if they'll be happy with the type of work that we do. And if they're not happy, then they're not going to stay with the team long, and it's not a good fit for them, and it's not a good fit for me.
I firmly believe that it is up to each individual, engineer or otherwise, to manage their own careers. If you know, in the engineering field, a lot of times, there's an associate engineer, then you go up to a general engineer, and then there are, principal engineers and consulting engineers, and there's a pretty well-formed engineering track. And sometimes people go along that track and they're okay with being an engineer. They're okay with those positions, and that's all they really want to do. But if you're an engineer that wants to do more or want to do different things in your career, then it's up to you. You have to always look at your own life. Take a very hard look at what you're doing, the things that you're pursuing, the way that you act in your professional environment, whether or not you're happy in your job, whether or not you're going in the direction in which you want to go in your career and in your life in general. And if things aren't the way you want them to be, then you need to take the opportunity to change that. It's up to you to determine where your future is going to be. It's up to you to create the path that's going to lead you to where you want to go. So one of the things that I definitely think is important is taking inventory constantly. And it doesn't take a lot of time, just a few minutes. The next thing is that if you decide that you're not going in somewhere in the direction in which you want to go, then make a plan. And certainly the last thing is execute your plan. And when things don't happen the way that you want them to happen, that's okay. That's life. Things happen in life. You just have to pick yourself up and keep going. That's how people become successful. Everything don't always happen the way that they want it to happen all the time. But the successful people are the ones that just keep going. They pick themselves up, they recognize that life happens, and they keep going.